So here's some really interesting news that I just found out. Um, let's see here. Okay, just recently, I think on October 17th, the same day President Bush signed the Military Commissions Act, he also signed a bill called the National Defense Appropriations Act of 2007. And in Section 1076, it basically gives the president the right to declare martial law, and he can declare this even though governors of a state don't want to declare martial law. So this is really big news. I think this is the first time that a president has ever been given that right. Normally, martial law is only used for governors of a state so that they can mobilize national guards to protect the state from any insurgents, any sort of disruption in the rule of the state. So this is pretty alarming. I think it is. Again, it just shows that Bush is trying to grab more and more power. Whether he's doing it because he's evil, that's up to debate. And I'm not going to say. He could be just someone that is really guilty, that he wasn't feeling a lot of guilt, feeling a lot of shame that he wasn't able to stop the attacks on 9/11, and he feels that as president, that he needs all the power that he can to try and prevent another attack like that. But this is just wrong. He's going too far. There's other ways that we can protect ourselves. So it looks like there's going to be a grassroots effort to try and have Congress repeal this, because it occurred so quickly. This bill, I guess, was first staged as an act to help empower the National Guard. I mean, the National Guard is seen to be separate from the Army. They're there for the state, even though technically they are part of the Army. If we have a war in another country like Iraq, for example, the president can ask for members of the National Guard to help in a war that is overseas. But until this act was signed on October 17th, he did not have the right to move National Guard troops from one state, for example Iowa, to another state like Pennsylvania to help enforce the law. A good example of how far this could go is the midterm elections are happening November 7th, and let's just use our imagination here. Let's say that a lot of people think that there was election fraud in the start, doing protests and saying that there was an election fraud and whatnot. And if the government wants to, he has the power now to use the National Guard as a law enforcement to enact martial law and to arrest people. And I did some research today because I wasn't really sure what the exact what really happens during martial law. But in martial law, your rights as a citizen are suspended. You don't have the right to habeas corpus. You don't have the right to freedom of speech, freedom of press, and whatnot. Those can be suspended. So let's see. There's going to be more information about this. There's a website, www.finger2006.com, and FINGER stands for, I believe, Federalists for Independence of the National Guard Emergency Response, something like that. So that website is set up to just give information, as much information about this act, what it says, what it does, the kind of powers it gives the president. As I just said, basically he can declare martial law, even though he shouldn't be the one to do that. And basically it should have phone numbers to call your governors. as I was trying to say earlier, this bill was quickly passed without much debate. I don't think many people that voted on the bill understood what was in it, what the bill actually did. So, contact your governors and senators and let them know, ask them, do you realize what this, what the National Defense Appropriations Act of 2007, specifically Section 1076, did you know that it, in a way, allows the president to declare martial law?